I grew up in Plain Dealing, Louisiana, a small country town in the piney woods of northwest Louisiana. And it was really a good place to grow up because the values and education that I received there have been, I think, the guiding principles for the rest of my life. In college, I met Nancy, and my life changed when that happened.
And a close friend of ours introduced us. It was Steve's college roommate, and he introduced us. And but we didn't go out for quite a while after that because Steve was dating so many of my sorority sisters that he couldn't quite have time to take me out. But then, after he had dated those girls, he then called me, and we dated on and off all through LSU.
And she and I have been together for 34 years now, and she's been my advisor, she's been my confidant, and she believed I could do things when nobody else believed it, or including me.
In 1989, 3 years after he came to Commercial National Bank, the directors of the bank authorized me to tender an offer to Steve to become president and CEO of C&B. The local economy was in shambles and banks all around were failing.
I think one of his great things he did was help us focus on what to do in the circumstance, because we were armpit deep in alligators, and he kept us reminded that the first objective was to drain the swamp, because you're not going to get rid of the alligators otherwise.
In these dire circumstances, Steve Walker had the courage to step forward. In the ensuing 7-year period, the bank made a miraculous recovery.
I was always impressed with the outstanding financial performance that Steve demonstrated through his leadership at the bank. On numerous occasions during the board meetings, he gave very professional reports, and the financial performance was always stellar. In fact, it was so good that Deposit Guarantee bought the bank.
I always marveled at his ability as a banker and his diplomacy in dealing with people. Those two factors, I think, combined to ensure the success of the venture.
Steve's position over the years has been with large companies, which are typically fairly large contributors to local causes, and I think he's been in a position where he's had to be the allocator of capital, the allocator of those donations. And I think Steve's approached it generally the way he approaches business, and that is he's looking for return on capital. And I think he carefully allocates these organizations' money to the causes he thinks will do the most good.
He was instrumental in developing a bank city, if you will, just south of Gonzales, and he went to the powers that be in Chase and basically said they need financial assistance and got cash outlays for all the employees that were displaced. Did that on several occasions.
I've got to credit Steve for leading me to work there as a member of the Board of Directors at Volunteers of America. He has a strong commitment to give back to the community, and I share that commitment, and Volunteers of America gave us both that opportunity.
He's a perfect fit for our organization. We need his expertise from a business perspective, and he's also very caring and concerned about what happens to our community and to children and families and people in need.
One of the things I like best about Steve, though, is he has a balance between his business career and his family. He's very fortunate to have a wonderful wife in Nancy, and I know over the years he and Nancy found opportunities to spend quality time with their 3 children.
As a husband, Steve is always extremely supportive and encouraging and interested in what I'm doing, and which always is wonderful for me and a great thing. He's also that way with our children, and very interested in their endeavors and all that they're doing, and very in tune to what they're pursuing.
What I think Steve, where he really is best, is I think about Steve as a husband to Nancy, as a father to his 3 children, and where he's especially good is as grandfather to Layla and to those grandchildren to come.
Steve is one of those kind of rare individuals that has a great business mind and hard work, but and is also a very honest person. Won't do anything wrong, will always do what's best for the client.
I think our community benefits from having someone like Steve Walker in a major bank here because of that ability to allocate capital, the ability to make loans for the good of our community, and to make those donations that come from those institutions as well.
Even today, if I'm called upon to make a critical decision in some matter, I simply ask myself, what would Steve Walker do in a similar situation?
My goodness, I've been through 5 bank mergers. I've moved to 4 states in the process, and now I'm back to my original home where we want to be and will stay. I had no idea what was coming down the road, but I did have a set of values that stayed consistent while all the world was changing around me. And I think it's that consistent thread that you have to maintain to be successful.